President Trump announced his tariffs last week. The stock market has dropped more than 10%. We've talked about that. I'm more concerned about the impact on ordinary people. This for me is a regressive tax. It's a tax on families who are already dealing with increasing costs and are trying to figure out how to make their lives work. I heard you say, Mr. Greer, that you don't think this is that we're in a trade war, and I respect your expertise on trade, but tomorrow the Trump administration will implement its reciprocal tariffs, which means businesses and families have had less than 1 week to plan for the largest tax increase in more than 50 years. So we are escalating, and so we can go back and forth about whether we think it's a trade war. I'm focused on how this is impacting families. Normally, when tariffs are being discussed, businesses and industries have time to plan. And the government often provides an orderly and clear process for American companies to apply for exclusions from tariffs when it's not possible for them to sell a product without importing parts or all of it because no one manufactures it here. We all know uncertainty is the worst thing for business. I'm hearing this from farmers. I'm hearing it from folks in the manufacturing sector. So I hope we can provide some certainty. What should a multinational retailer do about their products made only overseas or that contain parts only made overseas? We're seeing this in our automotive sector in Georgia. Should they just raise their prices on families to account for the new tax, or is there a process for that company to reach out to the White House for an exclusion?
So Senator Warnock, the Section 232 on autos is a Commerce Department action. One thing they've done is they have said that they would be willing to give some kind of a credit for U.S. content in parts and components, and they can approach the Commerce Department about this. It's not a decision I'm making, but I know that this is one alternative. You know, I'm mindful, you know, when I hear this, obviously we're sensitive to these dynamics, but it just reminds me that we lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the last 20 years, and that's part of the reason why we're in this situation now, and we just have to bring those back. So it's important to bring them back now before the situation gets worse.
But the question is, what do they do? Do they pass that price on to consumers?
Well, what we've seen is Ford and GM, for example, have announced actually that they're giving discounts. That was the big news last week. Last Thursday, they'd be giving discounts going forward. These companies often are going to figure out how they allocate costs among themselves, and it rarely gets down to the consumer in one-for-one basis.
So the company might figure it out, I think,
well, they can approach the Commerce Department to talk about the credits.
Let me go smaller. Last week, my office met with Angela Hawkins. She's the founder of Bamboo, a small business in Atlanta that sells bamboo-based sleepwear and sheets, particularly for people with severe and sensitive skin allergies like her husband. Angela's products are made overseas because you can't really find bamboo fabric made in the United States. What should Angela do? Pay the new tax, raise her prices, and risk losing customers? Or is there a process for her to apply for an exclusion from the Trump White House?
So, Senator, the president has said that in connection with this action, he's not going to have exclusions or exemptions beyond what's in the program already for certain products.
So she'll just have to figure it out.
She'll have to work with her business partners and find about sourcing, and
she'll have to either raise prices and risk customers. Basically, is the answer, right? Because she can't get bamboo here.
It will depend on the tariff rate. Every country has a different rate, and some are much lower than others, and so they're
she might even go out of business. Let's go even smaller. Early estimates show that President Trump's tariffs will increase the cost of goods by $3,800 for an average American household. Many critical baby goods like cribs and baby gates are produced abroad or made or have foreign-made components. I went through this not long ago as a parent of young children. For an expecting family in Augusta, Georgia, who may now see a 50% price increase for that stroller or car seat, what is the process for that family to apply for a White House exclusion? I guess if the business owner can't get one, they can't get one either, correct?
So there's not an exclusion process. That's right.
So they would just bear the cost.
Well, I think the studies you're talking about, the economists, they got it wrong in Trump 1. They said there's going to be inflation because of tariffs, and it went down. So when I hear them now saying the same thing, I just don't trust what they're saying. And that's, the fact of history shows that it's not a one-to-one. The highest inflation we ever saw was under Biden for housing and education and healthcare and all of these things. And it was, and I don't know where everybody was then when that was skyrocketing by 20%.
What if their child is potassium deficient and now bananas are more expensive? Last I checked, we don't have the climate to grow bananas in the United States. Who should that family reach out to the White House for an exclusion for that price hike on those bananas?
Well, again, as we've discussed, there's not an exclusion process. I think we've waited too long with the status quo. I know people want the status quo. They want the trading system that Wall Street likes, but we can't have it anymore.
So here you and I agree. Nobody wants the status quo. This economy is not working for working families, for ordinary people. And I would submit that what the president did last week in such a reckless and sudden way is adding even more pressure on these families. Thank you so much.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donald Trump is single-handedly driving this economy off a cliff. With no evidence to back him up, he's claimed emergency authorities to slap new tariffs